We've got Adam Kokesh here. He is now the host of the Freedom Line. Previously, the show was Adam versus the Man. And what was it, Adam, that inspired you to make that change? And when was it? It's fairly recent, correct?
Yes, and first I have to talk about the book that I started writing when I was in jail called Freedom.
Yeah, you mentioned that the last time you were on the show. What was a digital download previously? Is it available in print?
Yes, we are taking orders at thefreedomline.com. Very excited about that now. And this is a book that I came up with while I was in jail. And I looked around and did a survey of the literature of our movement, which is very nice to be able to do as young as this movement is. And when I came up with this idea for the book, I was like, wait a second, nobody's written this yet? This dumbass, this guy that was, like in solitary right now, the guy that had to go to Iraq to find out that the war was a bad idea, this guy gets to write this outreach tool, and I wrote it to be the ultimate outreach and conversion tool, and I'm confident in saying that we who helped make this happen succeeded in this, and there's nothing I'd rather hand somebody. And you guys know this, and this is why I'm excited to discuss it with you in particular, as guys who are so committed to the cause of freedom. Because for a long time, I've been thinking that it really doesn't matter if we have a big audience or we get a lot of YouTube views or we're right about something or you make headlines for civil disobedience even. We're a tiny movement of people that really understand the non-aggression principle, really understand the self-ownership concept for what it is, who really understand freedom as a moral concept. It's less than 1% of the population. 1% would be 3.3 million. I think it's a little closer to 1 million. So we got a long ways to go. The most important thing that we can do is win converts, get people to fundamentally change the way they think by understanding this and understanding what freedom really means. And for those of you who aren't invited to this conversation right now because you're not on board yet, if you haven't considered the message, that might be the only reason you're not on board yet. And anybody who really understands it, who takes the time to understand what freedom is and why they want it for themselves, understands that it's more than just something you take for yourself.
Well, most people do want it for themselves, right? That I think most people are clear on. They like the idea of being free for their own lives. It's those other people and what they'll do with their freedom. That's the problem.
Yeah, but it's a bold and radical stance to say that A, human freedom's a bad idea. B, that those other people, whoever they are, do not own themselves. They are not free within themselves to make choices. They do not have human rights. Because that's what people who don't believe in human freedom, people who think libertarians are nuts, that's the position they take. Their position is, we, those the majority, are the state, and you will do what we say or we will come to your house and we'll put a bullet in your head. Yep. You'll come with us and go to a cage, but if you don't come with us, if you believe you're free, ultimately, that's what we do. You do what we say or we shoot you.
Yep, and that's the premise of government. And the reason a book like this is so important right now, and why I was shocked when I figured out that this doesn't exist, is that most people who don't embrace freedom simply don't understand it. And a lot of it has been because of the way that we have presented this message. And a lot of people who go to the philosophically consistent message end up shying away from it and reaching out to people. And they compromise and they water the message down. And then you don't win anybody over. You might get them to vote for a candidate or agree with you on an issue or support one particular program or whatever. But if you don't fundamentally change the way people think, you're going to lose them, and it really doesn't get us anywhere. So the reason this book is so important is that it's not Amerocentric, it's not judgmental, it's in short, easy to understand segments. It doesn't talk about the American government. It talks about the modern phenomenon of bureaucratic democracies and other forms of government as we know them. It simply lays it out matter of fact. And there are a couple things that do make it unique that are of particular value to the individual reading it, because as you know, a lot of people come into this movement, they wake up to the nature of government, and they get angry, as they should be. And they get scared of things that they should be afraid of. And then they get depressed because, it might seem hopeless.
Yeah, it feels like you can't do anything about it.
And then they go out into the community and say, now join me in my fear and my anger and my depression. Isn't it amazing? And everybody goes, screw you. Why would I want anything to do with that?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to watch TV.
Exactly. And I know that you guys have gotten past that. And I think it's been the best feedback I've got on the book so far is from people who already got the message and then read the section on emotional freedom and go, holy crap. I'm not angry anymore. Now I'm really ready to do this, Adam.
Is that what prefaced your change from Adam versus the Man, the show name, to the Freedom Line? Was it a dropping of anger? What was it that created that for you?
Well, I think I dropped it a long time ago and was waiting for the mechanism to do it, and it really was this book. And the announcement that I've got coming up is going to be about promoting the book, but it's really all I care about now is getting people to read this, getting people to really consider the message, and winning people over to the movement.
All right, Adam, let's be realistic here. We're in the new media age. Books are kind of out of style to some extent. Some people don't like to read. Are you going to be doing an audiobook version? Does one already exist?
The audiobook is already out and available for free at thefreedomline.com.
So this is a multimedia approach here. So you can go and grab the book in digital form for free. You can download the audiobook for free at thefreedomline.com.
Sounds like Adam just got caught by a mousetrap.
And you're still doing your TV thing, right? So you're also doing the Freedom Line show.
Right.
How often?
Absolutely.
Is that weekly?
Well, we're doing the podcast is a weekly show, and I try to do YouTube videos most days of the week. But if about the book, like, again, really being all I care about, what we're doing is trying to give away as many even paper copies for free. And if I have to personally hand one out to everyone in the country, then that's what I'm going to try to do.
You are a man on a mission, and I appreciate that. I miss seeing you. I know that you were recently in Vermont, and you were at a Freedom Festival up there. How'd that go?
Oh, it was amazing, and it's amazing to see that I think there's this greater awareness in the movement seeping in, and it's really cool, as you guys know, to be on the right side of history and to feel the inevitability of people coming this way, of having the moral awakening that is the freedom movement. And I got a sense of this from the deep feeling crowd that was there at the Freedom and Unity Festival, and thanks to Jessica Bernier for putting that together. But there's a sort of sense that, like, we need to get past the the libertarian. It's not that infighting is a bad thing, but that making media for each other is unproductive. That talking to fellow libertarians is not a way to grow the movement.
I totally agree. That's why I wish more people would get out there into public. And, an easy form of activism is to put a radio transmitter on the air. You could take LRN.FM's content, which includes your show, by the way. Actually, I need to get on the program guide and update the show name. It still says Adam versus the Man. But I will do that. And so, you could put that show and all the other great shows we have on and then put it on the radio, and then all kinds of people are going to tune into it. So that's one way to reach people without, if you're like an introvert, you don't actually have to talk to anyone. You can let us do the work. We'll talk on the air, and then other people can listen. And of course, sharing
lots of introverts on the radio, by the way.
No doubt about it. So thefreedomline.com, that's your new website. I'm excited. I'm glad to see it. I always like to see shows without the host's name in them, because I just feel like it's just too much about me, and I feel like you're shifting your focus to something that's more important.
Absolutely. And I want to say one other thing, gentlemen, that I think as long as we're talking amongst just ourselves, right?
Just us here.
Just the freedom lovers in the audience now. There's something that our movement has also been very deficient of in terms of connecting the message to the general public. For those of us who understand that nonviolent relations are better than violent coercive relationships as a matter of scientific principle, then you don't really need a how. You don't really need a how do we do this, how do we get there kind of roadmap. But for the people that are more practical minded, you really do. And
absolutely.
This is an important part of the book, and incorporating technology and where we're going in the future.
Adam, I know you're going to keep in touch with us. I always appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for spending the time with us tonight. Listeners should check out thefreedomline.com. Grab the free book, watch the show. You do great work, man. Keep it up out there.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.